shosholoza, shosholoza, kulezo ntaba sitimela siphume South Africa. Shosholoza, shosholoza, kulezo ntaba sitimela siphume South Africa. Shosholoza, shosholoza, kulezo ntaba sitimela siphume South Africa. Shosholoza,
I love the idea of going into a store. I used to enjoy the whole experience that, they give you champagne. If you're actually in those shops,
Yeah.
the mere fact that you're parting with money,
Yeah.
they can even wash your feet.
Sure.
Literally. Because you're coming with, so, they're offering you champagne, they are calling you Madame Woody.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's such a pleasant environment. It's so exciting.
Today we're joined by Hulin Ndlovu. Huli, welcome to Voice of Solutions podcast. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be on this podcast. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I was tempted to say a South African in the UK, but I got a bit confused, so I don't want to assume or to impose what I believe it to be. Can you please give a brief introduction of yourself?
Well, my name is Hulisani Masibigir Ndlovu. I was born and bred in Venda, and I'm finding myself here in the UK. And I'm excited to be here.
Okay, now that's fine. So you said you were born and bred in South Africa. Right? Where in South Africa were you born?
So I was born and bred in Venda, in Limpopo.
Sure.
And it's in the far north.
Okay.
I lived there all my life until later on when I finished my matric and then moved to Johannesburg.
Okay.
So lived there.
Okay. So you went until you finished your matric in Venda. How was it growing up? How was it being a young girl? How would you describe yourself, or how is somebody else describe you?
You know what? I think growing up, I was quite a happy-go-lucky girl. I'm born of my parents obviously, and I've got 3 siblings. So I was like the third born girl actually, and I was the youngest for the longest time until 10 years later when my parents had my brother. And I think I was just always a bubbly, happy baby. I was very friendly. I think I was very approachable. I had quite a lot of friends, and also grew up with cousins, nieces, and nephews, and so I think I grew up in a very big family, around cousins, so I think I had quite a lot of friends. I had also quite a lot of family. And I think even during school holidays, we'd meet up and spend a lot of time together. So I grew up I had a good childhood, with people around me with a lot of love. And I think that really was the foundation of my childhood. I'd say I was quite a happy-go-lucky child, yeah.
Interesting. What about church? Did you go to church? Did you go to church?
So yes, when we grew up in the church, we used to go to the Reformed Church, Geformeerde, and I think that's where a lot of my values were instilled as well. As a child, obviously they were instilled from home, but they were reinforced obviously at church as well, and we'd go to conferences. So they had like conferences for the youth and also for like young adults. So young adults being maybe they would have like for 9 to 10-year-olds, and then 11 to 12, and then 13 to 14, then 15 to 16. So they categorize it. And at any point in your childhood, you had an opportunity to go to these conferences, and then you'd meet other people from other churches.
Interesting.
And some of them would obviously be people you'd knew maybe from school. So again, I'd gone into a Christian school.
Okay.
So a lot of my background was really structured around, I guess, church, Christianity, and also, such value, the Christian value system. So that's
Okay, interesting. So you were not in boarding school. You were staying at home at that time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I really wanted to go to boarding school at some point because my niece was in boarding school, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool to get you get to
Your
leave
own
away from
freedom.
home,
Yeah.
and they buy you all these things, and then you can just have your own freedom and live your best life. But my mom wasn't having that, and I'm so grateful actually she didn't. Now that I'm older, I realize that it's very important to grow up at home, and so that you actually develop as a person and under your parents' guidance. Yes, boarding school does have its pros, but I think I love the way that I related to my parents, and also even though teenage years, I was,
You were a teenager.
yes, I was a teenager, and you don't really understand yourself, you don't understand your parents, why they're so strict and so forth. But I feel like it really gave me a great foundation being not going to boarding school. Yes.
Yeah. So now you're about to move to university. You said you then finished matric and you had to move to Johannesburg, right? So this was the first time of you going out of your parents' house, having to go live by yourself.
Yes, it was. I'd say, I mean, I'd been obviously to Joburg and so forth, with traveling and so forth. But yes, this was the first time where, I'm really being given that independence to say, go out there and make a name for yourself and represent us and hopefully come back a better person.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was 17 years old, and I just obviously gotten my matric results, and now I had to figure out what I was going to study and do and so forth. So I then got, a space, I guess, at Vets Tech at that time.
Yeah.
It was actually the year that they transitioned to University of Johannesburg. So that was when we were merging with Rao, Brand Afrikaans University. So yes, so I then moved to Joburg, and that's where I did my national diploma in accounting. Yeah.
So how were the emotions? Did the parents trust you that you are now ready to go live by yourself? Did you trust yourself? Were you scared? What were the emotions at the time? Because now you're moving a province.
I mean, my parents had good practice, I guess, because my two sisters who were before me had been in varsity. In fact, they were still in varsity, I think, by the time I went. So they had good reference, so they were not really worried. Personally, I was sort of prepared because, again, my sisters who had gone before me would obviously tell me how it was like and so forth. And I mean, for myself, I think the advantage was that initially when I moved to Joburg, I stayed with my eldest sister for about 2 months until I got an opportunity to live in the school residence, which was quite an experience. I think that's when I really got a glimpse of what it looked
life
like
being
to actually
be yourself.
yes, and also get money from home and actually budget and make sure that it actually, sustains you for like a month. And I mean, back then I was getting like 650 rand. So my so my dad would send me 300 on the 15th, and then my mom would send 350 on the 22nd. And that's it. She's not gonna send anything more. So you need to make sure that it stretches. And so you had
And
to
that's
make
like
it.
25 pounds, right?
Yeah, really, actually, exactly. And now when you look back, you're like, wow, you actually made something out of this. But yeah, it was really good. I learned so many life skills from that. Yeah.
25 quid.
Imagine, eh?
Yeah. No, no, that's fine. So you get to invest. How's the investor experience for you other than just the finances, like the school, the education system, and just building new friends in a new city? How was that experience for you?
Wow, it was interesting because I'd come from Venda, where we speak Shivenda all the time. Just a bit of English, at school.
Yeah.
And here I was like thrown in this place where people are speaking Zulu. I didn't even know. I couldn't speak Zulu, So, and the friends that I'd actually met were Zulu speaking. And so we'd sit in maybe at rest and, we'd now start talking and they'd be like, oh, when I don't understand, they'll switch to English for a bit and then they'll switch back to Zulu. So that's how I picked it up. And then also, obviously, using public transport, taxi, you they're not speaking. So, I picked up the language quite well. And Yeah, the freedom that came with actually, it was panorama residence. Oh my God. The freedom of actually being your own master and like, no, you don't report to anyone. You can be out at whatever time of the day.
Yeah.
Whether you go to class or not, no one cares. The lecturer is not worried about that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was exciting, I must say, for a young Huri, 17.
Yeah.
You're meeting people,
Sure.
and yeah, you are like, there's like, it's a totally different world in the sense that, I mean, I came from a very small place, and then now you're like in this big world, and wow, it was, how Joburg is, the buzz, the
Sure.
people,
Yeah.
the fashion, yeah, it was just, like it was just you met so many interesting characters. School was fun because I think Vets Tech really had quite diverse group of people, and obviously
Yeah.
being the courses that they were also offering. I mean, you had people who were doing all sorts of courses, so you met really interesting people, and you got so inspired by some people as well. And I think being at rest also afforded me the opportunity to really mingle and connect with other
Sure.
women. So there were times when I even tried for a house committee, to be a house committee member
Yeah.
and all of that. And yeah, it was interesting times. And also I also started a little business where I was selling to also raise money. I mean, guys, 650 wasn't enough. So I also like the entrepreneur in me. Started selling purses from China City.
Sure.
And they actually sold. Like I was really making good money there. Yeah, so I think it opened a lot of opportunities and a bit of naughtiness as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
yeah.
think you're starting to be by yourself, so it's understandable. That freedom, you're finally getting visa to use within those
Yeah,
years.
imagine. Well, I mean, like at home when I grew up,
Yeah.
my parents never allowed me to go to parties. They were very strict. Like, would you know? I mean, at some point, there was a time when when I asked for permission to go to a party, my
Yeah.
dad allowed. But he said it was fine, and my mom was like, "Okay, that's." I mean, she made it seem everything was fine. How? So I'm with my nieces, mind you. I'm with my nieces and my cousins.
Sure.
So now we've left the house. We are now going towards to this place. Like it's like this Portonyana. So
Yeah.
do I not see my father's car?
I
I'm
know.
like, I live in a father's car, and then
Oh
he comes,
no.
he stops and he's like,
Yeah.
get in the car,
Ah,
So that's how strict.
yeah. So this was now the freedom to
Yes,
be
yes.
yourself.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like, it was freedom, and yeah, I was out and about and enjoying myself. Yeah, discovering Uri.
That's true. So you finally finish university and now it's time for you to move, get a job or start your own business. Can you take us through that journey? What happened when you then finished the university?
So, funny enough, I finished. Okay, so in the 2 years, in the first year, I was doing extremely well, and the
Sure.
second year, I was doing extremely well. It was in the third year. I don't know what happened in the third year where I don't know whether I was partying too much or what, but anyway, I did fail some modules,
Okay.
and then I had to repeat
Sure.
in the following year, right? I think I had to repeat about
Excuse me.
3 subjects.
Sure.
Now, yes, so now because I would have had like 3 subjects to repeat.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time on my
On
hands.
your
So I thought,
hands,
okay,
sure.
let me go and find a job, right?
Interesting.
So a
Yeah.
friend of mine was actually working at Standard Bank at that time, and she was like, "Oh, they're looking for people." She was on a leadership program, and she took my CV and she submitted it on my behalf, and I got interviewed,
Yeah.
and then I got a job, right?
And this year still doing other modules. Interesting.
So yeah, so I'm getting that job, and I am doing those other modules. So I'm
Sure.
still staying at rest.
Okay, yeah. You don't have
So
to pay for accommodation.
no, not even. And here I am now, earning such a lot of money. And I'm staying at rest.
Sure.
Can you imagine? Like,
Yeah.
I was balling. I went from 650 to getting like 7,500 rents
Yeah,
a
yeah.
month.
Yeah.
And I'm not even
Yeah.
paying accommodation because
Sure.
the rent is taken care of.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was a good jump. And my neighbor, who was a friend of mine, would give me study notes,
Sure.
when I'd come back, obviously, from work.
And then you attend sometimes. So I think the most important thing there is a lot of people once they start working while they're still studying, they will either quit or they will start failing even more. And how was that for you? How did it go for you?
Well, there was absolutely no way I was going to quit because
So,
I mean I just had a few subjects left,
yeah.
and for me that this was like a gateway. So yeah, there was absolutely no way. You need to finish what you start. I mean, yes, it was the money was enticing, but you know what? I knew that I had to finish, and
Yeah.
there'd always be more jobs out there. Yeah.
Sure, because that's when people lose focus because you now start
Yes,
working. You see yourself as a professional rather than
exactly. Yeah.
being undergrad at that time, if I may say.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you start working and you finally then finish the modules that were left behind, right? And then you could go full time now, just corporate.
Yes.
How was corporate for you? How was corporate South Africa for you?
You know what? I really had such a good start in
Sure.
corporate, I must say. I don't know whether it was being young and having an appetite to work for the world of work, but I was very enthusiastic.
Sure.
I was very determined, and I think when I got that opportunity, I was like, you know what, let me use it to the best of my abilities, such that I was identified as talent, and with the job that I was in, I was promoted within 2 years.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I became a supervisor, and then I then later became a manager. Like I think in the third year.
Yeah.
So I was really doing my best, and I
Sure.
feel that when you are doing your best, and you've got your managers or people above you, and they can see your potential, and they can see the work that you're putting in, they had no choice but to invest in me.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I was very lucky that there was a lady that I think she mentored me in a
Sure.
way. It was very informal, but
Yeah.
she was and I would say she was actually my sponsor because
Sure.
it was very informal in the sense that you can see that this person is aligning you with certain things. So, for instance, so there's something called the Global Leadership Program at
Yeah.
Standard Bank.
Yeah.
So that leadership program has different phases. So you've got a phase for like team leaders. That's where I started actually when I was a team leader supervisor. So they've got a program for that, and then they've got an intake for managers, and then they've got one for senior leaders, and then
Yeah.
one for like directors. So I was earmarked for all those programs. But over and above that, I think even in terms of continuing my studies,
Sure.
I was also able to continue my studies, and also there were other courses that I was able to pursue
Sure.
in the role. And I think even in the role, I could see that there was a clear career path
Sure.
that was laid out to say, okay,
After this is this.
yeah, so there was a progression, I could really see myself, So I think for me, that was a great start because it could have gone either way. Because sometimes you go into the world of work, and I saw it later on in my career when I met younger people that I'd met in other places, in other banks, and I realized that when if the talent is not nurtured, people really can become very stagnant, and this is their reality of the world of work. They just think, oh, okay, it's a place I go and do my bit, and I leave. So when I then look back in hindsight, I realized that woman, honestly, and I think when she went on retirement, I was even in tears because I looked at my career and I was like, you did so much for me, and I can see how. I mean, I didn't know then what was happening, and then when you then look at it now, when you're now looking and
looking back,
looking
reflection.
back, yes, you're seeing all these things,
Retrospective.
all these points, all these dots connect, and you realize, wow,
This person mentored you silently.
yes, and they opened opportunities, and it has always stayed with me.
Yeah. And that's very much important, right? You need that one person who will take a chance on you, and sometimes they don't have to communicate it. Later, when you reflect, I think it's most people have that story that when I look back, there's just this one person who took a chance. No matter what, he took a chance in me. And in some cases, you're like, that person was guiding quietly, not even showcasing that they are mentoring me. But this is, I can relate to that. And that's a very interesting story. So you have your career, then you go on, then you are settled in South Africa. Everything is going fine, right? you're enjoying, have money for parties. Exactly. And yeah, that is your life in South. That is your work life. Outside of work, how was life outside of work?
Outside of life, wow, life was great. I was traveling because now I could, and I mean, this lady actually, even, I think she got me interested in actually traveling abroad as well.
Yeah.
Because what would happen is that, and I'm just mentioning this so that,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yes, what would happen is that she used to go on 4 holidays, right?
Sure.
She'd go on a local holiday, so like maybe a Kruger National Park or Drakensberg or Sun City. She'd go do a local holiday. She'd do like a sea, what is it? Sorry. A seaside holiday.
Sure.
So like maybe going to the beach or
Yeah.
something like that. And then she'd do an overseas holiday, and she'd also do like a regional trip, right? So maybe around Africa, like
Lesotho, Mozambique.
or Zimbabwe. So yes, and then that's how she would structure it, like all those 4 different holidays.
Sure.
And obviously, when she comes back, she'll show us the photos and all of that and blah blah. So anyway, besides that, that also impacted me, but
Sure.
also in my own personal life, I got an opportunity to travel, obviously through work, and I think that also ignited that spark. I had been traveling before as a child and also with family as well, but it was really obviously limited to maybe just Africa, right?
Sure.
So yeah, so Huri after outside work was traveling. I was also, I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah.
So I had always wanted to do to study makeup.
Okay.
Well, not really to study it. I'd always wanted to pursue a beauty course.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I decided I'd met someone when I was doing modeling. I used to also do plus size modeling.
Okay.
So when they were doing my makeup, I was like, oh, how did you get into makeup and so forth? And they told me that, oh, you know what? They applied at Mac and blah, blah, and they gave me information, and I also did that. So Huri outside work was also pursuing other interests.
Sure.
So I was also a makeup artist. So on weekends, I worked at Mac Cosmetics on counter to get what is it? Hands-on training,
Yeah.
Practical training, because I couldn't really go to school to do that. So yes, I got practical training, and then I also after that I decided to pursue and become a freelance makeup artist.
Sure.
So on weekends I'd be doing special events, so like weddings, I'd be booked for bridal makeup. If someone maybe is going to a special occasion, they'd also book me for that. Yeah, I also tried doing nails as well. I went for a course. Actually, I took leave from work and did a nail course because I thought, okay, let me supplement the nails and the makeup with a nail training course. But I realized during that course that it was really not for me.
Okay.
It was just not for me. I didn't have the
Passion for it.
the passion for it, and even the patience as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think it was just not me. But again, it was good. It was good research to find out that,
It's not something, it's not for you.
Exactly, yes. So yeah, so I was doing all of that, and just living my best life.
Okay, you're still single at that time, yeah?
I'm single, I'm dating. But you know what? I was,
So, I mean, you have all that. You have a job, you're running your own small businesses, you're doing whatever you're doing, and you're partying, you're settled, having your own place. You are in a beautiful country, the sun is out. Animals are there. You meet lion on the street. That's what they say, right? They say you're from Africa. Oh, do you see a lion on the street?
Right,
There was a time where a boy says to me, do you happen to just see a tiger on the street? And then on that day I said, no, that's not the case. That afternoon I heard there was something in Edenvale, or a tiger outside in Edenvale. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, exactly, that's what this boy was talking about. Okay. What triggered a decision for you to then leave South Africa and come to the UK? What happened? Was there a turning point? Was it something you always wanted to pursue going abroad, or it just happened out of the blue? Why are you here? Basically, how did you come about being here?
Well, love brought me here.
Man.
I had visited the UK in 2010
Sure.
for work, but I'd never really thought I'd live here.
Yeah.
Because obviously I went back to my life and I was comfortable.
Sure.
And then, well, I'm fast forward to 2016. 2016, well, 2015 December, really. I met my husband. For that time, it was
Okay.
it was in a wedding party. Like, excuse me,
Okay.
when the wedding party, both our friends were getting married, so that's how we met.
Oh,
And yeah, and I mean, he was based here, and we started dating, and it was a
yeah.
long distance relationship.
Yeah.
I was coming to the UK once a year. He was coming to South Africa like twice. And I guess after like 2 years of dating, now it was either,
Yeah.
you know, he moves to South Africa or I moved to to the UK.
Yeah.
Now, at that point in my career,
Yeah.
I was ready to move. I think I'd had it also. I mean, I'd
Sure.
moved banks at that time. I'd moved to another
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'd spent enough time in corporate South Africa. You
Sure.
know, I'd had good experiences. I'd had bad experiences, but I felt like there was something more that
Sure.
life had in store for me. And I thought, well, let's see what London unlocks. And I thought, well, the UK unlocks. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to just see what I can do out there and outside of my corporate life, you know, who's worry, you know,
Sure.
what else can I do? And I remember when I was making that decision, I thought I'm open to anything that will come. And for me, I didn't want to limit myself to just going to the UK and doing what I was doing in South Africa. I was open to
Come into
Yes.
different things. Yeah.
Yes, and because I already had other skills. I even said, I remember telling my husband that, you know, even if it means that I can do makeup there and all
Sure.
that, you know, to start
Yeah.
to build my profile, I'm willing to do that. So I think I was just really open to just starting over. And
Most importantly, you moved for love.
yes, I found love. I found love, and I think
And it was bound to happen
yes,
because you met in a wedding, right?
yes.
A wedding vibe, and you're already seeing yourself getting married.
And you know, it's so funny because I'd been to so many weddings, and I'd also, I mean, obviously, also as a makeup artist, but
Sure.
also, I'd also been a bridesmaid. My goodness, I'd been a bridesmaid for a long time. And yeah, it happened, and it just changed the trajectory of my life like that.
You started planning international relocation.
Well, not really,
You're
not
not dating a guy down the street in Soweto, Mfulo.
yeah. Well,
You're
I know
dating a guy from London.
yeah.
Obviously, you came for the first time and said, and you highlighted you came for work, right? And can you take us through that before you, because you are coming for the second time in London. Yes, the first time you came for work would have been a week, whatever the case is.
Mm.
When you landed in London this time, maybe you will first go to the first one. How was your experience in the first one, landing through work before we continued staying?
You know what? I think, yeah, landing through work was different because it was really my first international flight.
Sure.
So I didn't really know what to expect. And
Yeah.
it was interesting. I mean, I came in Feb
Yeah.
and it was end of Feb, really. And it was cold, it was gray. And I was like, wow, okay, this is even worse than what I had envisioned. But
Sure.
yeah, it was just very busy, you know. People were like, you know how London people
Yeah.
walk so fast and so
Sure.
forth. So there was a lot of activity, you know. It almost like North, you know, North.
Yeah.
There's a lot of going on. People are not talking to one another. Like, you know, there's a lot of movement, but also there's a lot of white people, eh? Like,
Scary. Yeah.
you know, you're like, okay, you
Huh.
guys are like a minority.
You
I mean,
start assessing your English.
yeah, you're like, yeah, you know,
A
your
level.
breakfast.
Is it A, B, B plus? What is this thing?
Exactly. You know, you're like, wow,
B2.
you're about to work hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but they were very. Well, when we eventually got to the office, they were very lovely people. I must
Yeah.
say. Yeah. I mean, some of them had been speaking to one another for years, and to actually now put faces to the names.
Sure.
It was interesting. Yeah, but I was really blown away. Now I realized, wow, the world is so big. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And at that time, you once highlighted I traveled business class in some of them. How was the experience?
Yeah, so that was also my first time. Wow, I was, you know what? I really was shocked. I
Yeah.
was shocked because, I mean, even getting to the airport, I didn't even realize that there's airport lounges. And
Yeah,
we go to
yeah,
the airport with my sisters, and we went to have dinner at Spare.
yeah.
And my director called me, and she was wondering where I am. And I guess some people I guess it's so straightforward. They assume
Know
that
it.
you know.
Yeah, assumed knowledge.
So yeah, so I mean, I did catch up with them later on in the lounge, and I was really blown away that, oh wow, there's such an experience. And yeah, and then even when I got into the plane, it really just was such a new experience. Like I had no idea how to behave, what to do, and so forth. I just found myself there, like I was ushered into my seat,
Yeah.
and yeah, both myself and the flight attendant we also, he was shocked to see me there. I'm also like, okay, but yeah, it was really such a lovely experience. It was Virgin Atlantic, and wow, it was just, I'll never forget it. It's one of the moments in my life that I'm like, you know what, you can really just,
Sure.
life can just happen to you, and
Yeah.
experiences can really just change your life.
Yeah.
And we even got like sleepaway,
Sure.
and I was like, wow,
Soft life.
yeah. So it was really, I think that experience really, when I look back, I'm like, this is why I'm this person now.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason I'm asking that, I wanted to just take a step back because when you then now came for the second time, coming to work or coming for love, it was not your first time landing in London. So that's why I had to just take that step back. Now you are landing for the second time. Some of the things are no longer shocks anymore because, I mean, you came before. This time, what month was it? And how was the experience this time coming back to London? Were you like, before I didn't see this? Because, I mean, when you came for work, you would have only came to maybe to the city, like inside London. Now you have to go out and now start to see the UK for what it is, for example. Now, how was that experience for you? Yeah.
So I mean, I'd visited when we were dating, but also prior to us dating, I'd come back to London for travel.
Okay,
When I was doing a Euro summer trip.
Sure.
But yeah, coming back to actually live here was different because I had my whole life packed.
Yeah, I had to leave now
like
with
three
three
suitcases.
bags. That's why I always am packing my life into 3 bags.
You know what? Yeah, and you are quite right. We were now obviously not staying in the city. Now you are like looking for a place outside of London.
Yeah.
And and you now have to start afresh. Like you need to get what do you call it? NI,
Yeah.
like a
NI
national
number, yeah.
national what's the national insurance number?
Yeah, national
It's like
insurance.
getting an ID in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Registering to GP.
you know what? Like,
To
there
surgery.
was so many. It was like you're a newborn person.
Yeah.
You're getting all these things. Yeah, you are actually like a newborn person in this country because you're getting registered. You need to familiarize yourself with the rules and procedures here and so forth. And yeah, it was a lot, but I was excited because also I'm beginning my new married life and our first place together, and we're finding our feet. We've never stayed together.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, you know what? Oh, this person's habits,
Yeah.
Because obviously when you're
finding out.
yeah. Yes, exactly. You're like,
I don't know. They said there's a
like,
difference between realizing and finding out.
yeah, because even when you are dating, when he'd visit or when I'd visit, it was a very short time, so it's sort of like a honeymoon period.
Yeah.
So you're also like maybe going on holiday.
Hold your habits.
You see, exactly, yeah, and you're like, oh, okay, whew, now you can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. And we didn't have to Skype anymore.
So
So it was a good,
beautiful.
it was a good experience. Yeah, and also because he had family here already. Now you are also getting more acquainted with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting.
A lot of people get overwhelmed by, I mean, you when navigating two big dynamics, being a newlywed and in a new country.
Yeah.
And you were saying you were still enjoying the experience, eh?
Yeah, because I think because I had left. Okay, so I started working at 20, right?
Sure.
And 2019, I'm trying to think how old I was. So
Yeah.
anyway, I was in my early 30s.
Yeah.
And so I had worked for over 10 years.
Sure.
And this was my first time when I'm now taking a break.
Sure.
So you can imagine
Yeah.
that freedom and
You needed that break.
yes, I needed that break, and I was, I was that's why I was like on a high to say, okay, I'm ready for a new opportunity, new challenge, and so forth. And I deliberately told myself that I'd take about 6 months or so to settle in,
Yeah.
familiarize myself with the city, with the country, and so forth, and ease into maybe going back to work and so forth. I even started a YouTube channel, by the way.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I thought, okay, makeup is something that I'm already familiar with, and my social media was about makeup. It was a Beauty by Huri social media page.
Sure.
So I thought, okay, I'll just do that, continue doing that, and so forth. So yeah, so that's why it was, I guess, easier. Yeah, until I obviously.
Yeah. Then you're highlighting something very important, which I've noticed moving here, that whenever, let's say, we're hiring or something, while navigating the CVs, I will see people have gap years. People here do work and they do take gap years. Like, okay, I'm taking 2 years. There was a guy, we were playing pool one day at work, and he says to me, "No, today is my last day." I'm like, "You going to greener pastures?" I'm trying to joke. He said, "No, no, no, I'm going home. I'm gonna sit home for 2 years." Right.
Yeah.
So that, it's rare. It's not easy to find in South African corporate, where somebody just say, "I'm going home for a year. I still have a job next year." People who work long, they can have sabbatical or whatever, but it's not common to have people having gaps, so much that when we interview, we ask, "What were you doing here in this gap?" Of which it's not something you ask. So you're saying you decided, okay, you're going to take 6 months, and in that 6 months, if you work, you're working, if you're running a business, but if you're sitting at home, you're sitting at home. How was that experience then get familiarized with the UK while, or even getting a new job? Just take us through that experience. What then transpired?
So again, also, I think it was sort of like indefinite because you don't really know when you get a job. But I'd given myself that time. So
Sure.
during that time, I'm also putting my CV out there in the sense that I am now realizing that the CV, like when you're applying for a job in the UK, it's different
The
to
CV
South
format,
Africa.
even,
Yes,
yeah.
CV format. You need to now acclimatize to that they do
The
things
role.
the side and so forth. So I'm finding all of those out. So I'm also busy with that admin. And then also I was like, okay, I was also told by people who would also come here before me that, oh, you know what? You can also get a part-time job. You can also volunteer as well, just so that you get working experience here in the UK. So the easiest thing for me was to volunteer at a local charity. So I volunteered at Cancer Research UK, and this was in the high street at a shop. It was a charity shop, where they sell clothes and all sorts of things. And yeah, that's how I was volunteering about 2 days a week. Sometimes I'd go 3 days and so forth. And it really gave me also a good start to familiarize myself with the community, learn how things work, and also just get myself out there, meet new people, because, sometimes we'd go to the pub, with the ladies, and yeah, so it was good. It was a good way to really just integrate as well. So I'd say that after that, then I was also told, well, I also thought, okay, maybe I could start earning a bit of money and not really dip into my savings. So I went into care, right? So just downstairs where we used to live was a care agency, and they were always looking for people. So I went and dropped my CV, and they called me, and I started working for them like part-time. And so I'd work like weekends sometimes, and so forth. And so when I was now ready to maybe get formal employment, yeah, I then started, putting my CV on LinkedIn and, the recruitment pages and so forth. And by then it was already customized to the
Template.
to the templates that they use here.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I then got an opportunity, and yes, and then that's how I started going back into corporate. So I got to work in a bank again.
Bank.
Yeah,
Bank.
boring after moving, and then you're like, oh, what's something you, and then
And then you're back in the
yeah,
bank.
back, yeah. But I mean, I had to take it as well, and I thought, okay, It was November, so it
Sure.
was now going into winter. So the summer, because I arrived in summer, by the way, I arrived in May.
When everyone is happy, the
You
smiles
see,
are out.
exactly, yes. And I remember we also had a family wedding like a month later. So it was like, it was nice, man. You know, it was vibrant, it was exciting.
Yeah.
So then you're going through summer and you're like, wow, I could really live in this country.
Yeah,
It's not bad, you know? And then now it's going into winter and
Now
you're
the
like, okay, now
reality
you must
hits.
probably now. Yeah, so that's how I see
Short
it too.
days. Yeah, I think to what that's a beautiful story to tell. To what you've highlighted there, I think I'm myself guilty of something and I'm learning in it. You are the second person coming in this podcast saying in the UK they're here and then you must do some form of charity. Then you get to know people. I'm guilty of not having done charity. Yes, I do go to the pub life, you know. I go watch football. I have people I know. Not sure if I could say it's friends or what, but I do have people I know.
Yeah,
That
you've got mates.
I may. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but the charity thing, I think it's something to be
It's very important.
looked into, and maybe I should be getting one within this year. Okay, now you start working, and I believe in South Africa you'd have had your car driving in traffic. Now you're commuting, right? Because obviously in South Africa, although we do have how train and all, but I mean, a lot of people are using their cars or other means like taxis to go to work. So you are now taking train to work. You're commuting now.
Yeah, I'm commuting every day, and it was Monday to Friday that time. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, and it was quite normal, eh?
Yeah.
It was quite normal, and it was interesting because you know, like in South Africa, because obviously I said in November, and then come December, you know, in South Africa, come December, like starts slowing down, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people will leave early and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, well, how you know what? Maybe
When are you?
what, like,
When is everyone going home?
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I think the only day that you could really leave early was the day before Christmas, the day before New Year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was interesting how Fridays, it's like, guys, the work ethic in the UK,
Yeah.
people here, like, you will work for your money, you know. And you'll find that, yes, you'll have your 1 hour of lunch, or sometimes you'll even take your lunch at your desk, you know. But yeah,
It was very serious.
you are going to, very serious. And again, also, I find this whole thing of chit-chatting during work, they don't really do that.
Yeah.
Such that even when I went to South Africa at some point when I was like in another office, I was really surprised how people are like chit-chatting and so forth. So here, it's very strict. I guess very serious and very professional at least. You're not really taking phone calls at your desk and laughing out loud and so forth. No. And again, also people here are so like someone will come and sit next to you and not greet you.
Yeah.
And I used
They don't see anything wrong.
they don't see anything wrong with that. You know, like like in South Africa, people will greet you from the lift. In fact, from the doorman, the security guy. Yeah, you start there, and then you make your way to reception.
Yeah, exactly.
Then in the lift, you are now talking to your fellow
Talking to somebody who you don't even know.
Exactly. You get off the lift, you meet someone by the door. Like it's conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
You will stop talking to your person that you left at home. If you live alone here, that is it. You will not talk to your person next to you in your commute.
Yeah.
You get a book or you're on your phone.
Yeah.
You speak to no one. And you're coming across so many people, but it's like your machines, really, you know.
Yeah.
So it was
walking fast in London.
fast, and then and then people don't talk. They'll talk to you when they need something from you. So yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I settled in, I think. But also we had socials as well, which was great as well. But yeah, it was interesting.
Thank you. Captured that so well. That was my experience. You captured it so well. Like this thing of, I think that my focus span is like 2 hours, like completely focused. And then I want to just take my mind away from it and then I'll focus. Now it was like 8 hours. Like people, and you're like,
why are we not going?
Exactly.
Why is everyone serious?
Yeah, I think I also struggle a bit to adapt or adjust to that. Like, now you must sit here and you must work. And obviously we try to bring ourselves and then try to talk to people and maybe change a little bit of change the environment a little bit. But it's exactly what you captured there. So those were now your experiences at work. Then looking back into, I mean, you've tried highlighting your corporate South Africa into corporate UK, the difference being people really work and you work for your money.
Yeah.
What were just other things that you noticed? Were there other things that were fundamentally different for you? Just the benefit of somebody who just got a job in the UK, coming, and certain things that you noticed. Obviously, is this one of people work, and I've noticed the same thing. People work and you get used to it once you the speed. Not to say we don't work in South Africa, we do, but there's that social fabric of just talking and talking to people and talking to people. So were there any other fundamental differences, or this was the one that stood out for you?
I think also what I then noticed when I was now in the system is that people are not very direct. They're not confrontational. They're not blatant. Whereas when you're coming from an environment where you're
People say it as it is.
people say it as it is, it's not received very well.
Yeah.
And okay, I guess also I think it's a cultural thing. I think it's a British thing. You know, like they'll just say, oh, things are fine and all of that, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you would have wanted someone to say, "No, I'm not happy."
yes,
From
yes.
environment where someone would say, "No, no."
So you tend to reserve.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I found that people they don't say much, but you can see they'll start subtly, or something might be interpreted as something else.
Sure.
Yeah. So I found that it's like with our culture, we're very direct people.
Yeah.
This means this.
Sure.
This doesn't mean that. So I find it's something that I think when you are looking for a job, or maybe once you are in the system, you need to realize that don't take things at face value. People, there might be a hidden meaning behind certain things, and you must just make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. I think here you need there's an evidence-based approach.
Yeah.
Here, so people are not very upfront and direct and all of that. So what you might have said verbally to someone is not. It might mean something else.
Yeah.
It might be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And that's not something that was, very common, because you might leave a meeting in South Africa and everyone is on the same page and so forth.
Yeah.
But then here, I just felt there was that a bit of people will never really say how they truly feel. And I know people will say that, oh, you know what, at work you should never really be yourself or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that British they tend to hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never knew exactly how is everybody feeling, the state.
You think
Yeah,
you
you
do.
think you
Yeah, you think you do. So I think for someone who's probably getting into the world of work, is that's something you will need to probably be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope I've explained it well. But
I think you captured it well, but basically saying they are not as upfront as
they're not as upfront. So you might think you are
right,
page.
on the same.
Yeah, you're on the same page, but you're actually
You're
not.
on your own lane.
So
Now you're living in the UK. I believe you are well traveled in many countries. At what point when did you start your traveling? Did you start while you were in South Africa, or you started once you are here? And just after covering that, how did being in the UK empower you to even travel more?
So, I mean, I traveled, I think, from an early age with family. My parents were keen explorers.
Sure.
Yes. So I think that was already something that was embedded in our culture, of our home. So I found it very easy to travel from this side because I think being in the UK, you're like literally like an hour away from Paris.
Yeah.
So it's easy. It's such an easy gateway to the rest of the European countries. That was another reason why I actually decided to make the move, because I thought, oh, this will also just
enable your travel.
Yeah, exactly. So I really enjoyed the fact that I could even visit other countries in Africa, like Morocco, that were a bit further when you were in South Africa. But funny enough, well, it was short-lived because just a few months that I was here, then COVID happened. Barely a year later,
No.
COVID happened, and then we were stuck for what, 2 years? Yeah, but
yeah.
but immediately when things got better, then I was able to continue my travels.
How many countries have you traveled now?
So now I
still remember.
But I mean, some have even gone back to quite a lot. But I think I've done 42 countries.
42 countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of travel, eh?
It's a lot. It's a lot, but yeah, I think COVID held me back. I
Yeah,
would
could
have
have
been
been
this
more.
far. Yeah. And actually my travels were not even with they were more with my South African passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Green Mamba.
Green Mamba, you know what, yes.
Green Mamba.
Yeah.
So, interesting. You're well traveled. How has that changed you as a person? How do you think traveling has changed you as a person?
You know, the same way that you leave your house and you engage with someone in the street that you probably don't know and so forth,
Yeah.
and you come back with a different perspective. That is what travel has done for me. Stepping into other people's worlds, like visiting a new country, trying out new food and so forth, it has really broadened my perspective. And it has made me realize just how small of a person I am in this world,
Sure.
and just how interesting we are as people and how similar we are. So it's actually even brought, some of the differences closer. In fact, not even brought the differences. It has actually cut out the differences, because sometimes you think we are very similar as people.
Yeah.
So it has changed my life, but it has also made me a better person as well.
Sure.
Because when they say when you know better, you do better. So the more you travel, the more you realize just how similar our experiences are as people. But it also makes you more grateful for your own life and your
Yeah.
own experiences. And you realize that there's a lot, there's more out of the world than just living in your head. So it's allowed me to really I think sometimes we also take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
So when I travel, I realize just how minute certain things are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the things that you maybe hold so much are not so important. So it allows me to also humble myself and realize that we are similar with other people.
So you're saying sometimes the reason somebody has so much anger is because they're not traveling.
Exactly.
Maybe all you need is to take a passport and travel.
Sometimes it can even just be you living, barking your hometown and just going an hour away from where you live, and you meet other people. Like sometimes you wonder like how Limpopo is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can just be from like living Venda,
Sure.
and then you go to
Malamle.
Malamlel. Yes. And then you spend a day there and you see how people live, you interact with them and so forth. It will really change your life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're living in your head and you think that is how life is.
Yeah.
And that is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it breaks down all those.
I think you've captured traveling so much, so eloquent when you speak about traveling, so much that I'm tempted to say, because you're a travel agent. Maybe just before we go back to your life continuing in the UK, tell us about that travel and your travel agency.
Oh yes. So so everything is leading you to somewhere.
Sure.
That's what I believe. So I think my traveling really ignited a passion that I've now turned into a business.
Sure.
And I was planning trips for people. When I was still single, we used to do girly trips. I'd organize for us to maybe just do a weekend away. And later on, the first one that I organized, which was international, was to Zanzibar in 2016. And so I think last year, I found myself in an opportunity where I was like, I've got the time and let me set up this company.
Sure.
And for me, it was the time was right, because I had gathered all this experience.
Sure.
And I was ready to now pour it out and
Yeah.
actually help people. So,
Yeah.
for instance, I've done over 8 or 10 Schengen visa applications.
Sure.
So I'm quite familiar with that process. I've traveled extensively throughout.
Painful process.
Exactly.
I don't have that Schengen. I'm sitting
You
here.
see, so I know the ins and outs of getting the Schengen visa, what the challenges, and I think it's knowledge that I can pass on to someone else, and I can empower someone else and say, you know what, you don't have to be discouraged about traveling. This is what you need to do, and there are people who don't really know how to start.
Sure.
And for me, that's why I started this business, because I really want to help.
Yeah.
And so things like Schengen visa applications, I've traveled extensively through Africa, so I'm very aware of how to navigate, certain places, certain countries. I've traveled extensively in Europe, in Asia as well, and also, the US I
Africa.
started last year. So I'm someone I've got a lot of knowledge, and I'm ready to share that, and I'm still learning even more.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm at a point where I can definitely, guide, and I can also curate experiences. I'm just excited about.
Sure. Because it's something you love. It's something you're
Yes, I'm
passionate
excited about sharing this, the world, and ushering people,
Yeah.
whether they love adventures, whether they love, you know, relaxed holidays, or whether they just want to just disappear to the wild and so forth.
Sure.
I can curate all of that, and it really makes me so happy to be able to do that.
What's your company name again?
It's a girl with zest. It's girl with zest travel.
Yeah, no, I'll include the link. Maybe
yes.
people can check it out there. That's fine.
Please.
No, I was tempted to ask that question because of how well you captured the traveling part. Yeah. Now going back to, okay, you continue to work and you said you went to be a carer.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh wow. You know that yes. So I worked as a carer, obviously, as like part-time, but then I actually went into social care.
Sure.
I think during COVID.
Yeah.
Because then I lost my job,
Yeah.
my corporate job.
Yeah.
And then luckily because of the connections that I'd made before I got the corporate job,
Sure.
I was able to go back to that same company, and they were recruiting for a care coordinator.
Yeah.
So so I got that job, and wow,
How's that experience for you?
it was quite a challenge. It was, I think in all the roles I've done,
Sure.
there's nothing that has stretched me or has challenged me like working with people and working in social care.
Sure.
Because you're working with vulnerable people, you're working with heart, you're working like, it's not like in a corporate job where it's just numbers on the system and so on. You're working with people, you're working with people's families, you're obviously like, sorting out care for, I mean, you've got stakeholders like GP, social services, you've got the families, and you've got different stakeholders, but you're managing people and emotions, right? So there's a lot involved, and there's also like safeguarding principles and so forth that you need to obviously adhere to and all of that. So yeah, it really challenged me. And I think when we were working there, I was responsible for the care workers that were, so we were providing a care service, to the community, and together with the care workers. And on weekends, I would also work as a care worker as well, because sometimes we're short staffed. And so that job changed my life. It taught me a lot of empathy.
Sure.
You learn so much because you are working with people who are, some of them are end of life.
Sure.
So they are literally on their deathbed, and some of them are bedridden because that's, some of them are elderly, and you're obviously looking after them in terms of providing care. You see them in the morning, I mean, you see them throughout the day. So it changed my life in the sense that I realized how much life is so short, and how we don't value certain things until we don't have them. So like, for instance, good health, no one asks to be in a certain situation. So when you see people losing their life and all of that, you realize just how fragile life is, and how we should not take things for granted, So it really changed my perspective so much, in the sense that you realize what is important. You don't sweat the small stuff anymore. And you also learn.
It's not long about the spreadsheets, the profit and loss, the margins. It's no longer about the headcount. When you're talking a human being, you're no longer talking human capital, resources, headcount. That's not.
You are talking. These are people, and it's it's someone's mom. So when you're providing care, you need to obviously make sure that you're providing the best care to someone. This could be your mom. This could be your own grandmother, maybe. So it really speaks to your values as a person as well. So it does change you completely, because some of these people you get to know and all of that, and then before you know it, they've passed on and so forth.
They're gone.
Yes, but It really teaches you a lot. Yeah, you also learn from the people, eh? Because some people have really had good lives.
Sure.
So the UK, I didn't realize how much the UK has such an aging community of people until I actually moved here and lived here, you know. But yeah, when you're now then looking after the elderly, you realize how these people were like me and you. They were young and so forth. So you get to hear about their lives and what they used to do and so forth. And they will tell you everything. They'll give you advice.
And nothing to lose. Right?
They've got nothing to lose. And you realize just how some people have regrets, about life. So you learn also from that, and you're like, you know what, you need to live your life. And I think
wisdom.
Yes, and that's how I've actually. That's some of the inspiration that I got. That you know what, you must live your life.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now after that, you obviously move. You go back to banking again. Am I correct?
Not quite. So during that time, I actually didn't just go back to banking.
Sure.
Yes. So I mean, being an entrepreneur at heart. So I got an opportunity presented to become a luxury personal shopper.
Sure.
And it was purely by someone who had been my client before, when I used to do bridal makeup.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she was someone that had been my client, and she asked me to buy her something this side, and that's how it was born. And then I started obviously advertising my services, and then I became a person. Yes, so I was doing that alongside obviously being a carer.
Yeah.
And wow, it's interesting, eh?
Yeah.
It's interesting how when you're shopping, how people perceive you,
Sure.
and how people perceive you when you are not shopping.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it makes
Yeah, I
sense.
get you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Maybe I get you, but somebody doesn't get you. Guys, she needs to explain. What do you mean?
so I mean, when I started luxury shopping, I was obviously shopping for other people, right?
Sure.
And it was interesting how people treat you a certain way when they know that you've got money and you're coming to buy
Sure.
something. So you look at the whole social class system,
Sure.
and you see how it unfolds, as you go and all of that. And even through my clients, who would be obviously buying, and, so that I'd be sourcing on their behalf and so forth. So you see human behavior, differently, yes. And it has taught me quite a lot. And I've also learned quite a lot from the places that I've shopped, the countries that I've been. And yeah, it's one of those experiences that that I quite enjoy.
Just capturing before we just try to understand more your luxury or personal shopping business, if I may say. I mean, the dynamism behind you being in care and then being in banking, dealing with luxury lovers. I believe you once did a psychology qualification.
Yes. So I mean, I did. So that's I think to your point, it's it's interesting how, on the other hand, you've got people that are obviously, that I'm looking after in care. And then you've got people that are also like splurging on the side.
Exactly.
It was quite a divide. And you're like, wow, okay. So I studied industrial psychology up to honors level. And yes, looking at human behavior and what people deem as very important at that particular time where they're actually asking you to source an item and so forth. And then you are realizing that, you know what, on the other hand,
somebody doesn't care, but it holds no value.
It doesn't matter at all. Like, and exactly, it doesn't matter. And they can't even if it was here on the table, presented, so, you know what, I've bought you something.
Okay.
It's meaningless.
Yeah.
And you realize that,
the priorities and others.
Those
somebody else it matters.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, we are still here. It matters to us, right? Tell us about the personal shopping, the luxury shop. To us, it matters. We're still here.
You're still here. It's so
old enough. We're not going on nowhere. We still want to enjoy.
And you should honestly. You should.
Okay, yeah.
You know what? You know what? I think I love the fact that we're in a point where now people are able to shop and afford and live in
Sure.
beautiful houses and
Yeah.
shop whatever their heart's content, right?
Sure.
So I love shopping for people. I love the idea of going into a store. And I mean, when I started doing it, it was so nice in the sense that I used to enjoy the whole experience that, they give you champagne. If you're actually in those shops, the mere fact that you're parting with money,
Yeah.
they can even wash your feet.
Sure.
Literally. Because you're coming with, so, they're offering you champagne, they're calling you Madame Woody.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's such a pleasant environment. It's so exciting. And then you get what you're looking for. But it's a lot of work as well. I
Yeah.
think people see the they don't see the behind the scenes. They see
Sure.
obviously the glam that okay, you're in and out and all of that. But a lot goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You can't just step into a shop and be like, okay, I want to buy these things. A lot of these high-end brands
Yeah.
they don't do mass production.
Sure.
So it's very limited in
Yeah.
sizing and sometimes they'll have like a special edition and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's very limited in sizing. So you need to build relationships with
Sure.
sales advisors
Sure.
and you need to what do you call it, work closely with them because
Yeah.
you want them to be able to be at your beck and call when you ask for certain things, right?
Yeah.
Or like when you want availability. And there's certain things that certain shops, like for instance Chanel, you can't buy online at Chanel
Yeah.
unless if you're buying like beauty stuff and
Yeah.
fragrance or eyewear.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to go in store.
That is dynamic experience. So now, having lived in the UK, getting all these experiences, having traveled the world, having worked in the UK, having run your businesses in the UK. Now, how did that change you? How did that change your identity as a person, like as a whole? How did that change you, your outlook in life?
I think I think moving here has certainly changed me in a good way. It has really built my character.
Sure.
It has really, I mean, this place I've cried.
Yeah.
I've cried. It has pushed me.
Yeah.
I used to not even think, not that I didn't, I knew there was mental health
Sure.
issues and all of that,
Sure.
but I never realized how that can actually affect me until I moved here. With the seasonal depression that
Sure.
comes with
Yeah.
winter and
Sure.
long days of winter and so forth. And I think even instances where, you're not working and you're thinking, what does tomorrow hold?
Yeah.
And you're in a foreign country, you're all by yourself.
Sure.
And I'm saying all by myself because outside of my husband and family, extended family, that is pretty much
Little
it.
support, yeah.
Yes. I don't my side of the family is in South Africa. So I'm obviously privileged that I do have family this side, right? So, but yes, my immediate family is
Sure.
in South Africa. So facing a lot of adversities, I think it built my character. It made me stronger, and it brought me closer to God because this experiences, good or bad, that I went through here have really strengthened my faith. Living abroad, where you are away from family and it's just you and it's just you literally because ultimately, yes, I mean, obviously I'm here with my husband, but
Yeah.
he also has his own story and
Your own
he'd been here
personal
for a while.
reflections as well.
Yes. So you are here, you've got your own thoughts and you've got your own expectations and so forth. This country will definitely it will grow you, hey. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's really not easy. You battle with yourself. You are like actually stripped
Sure.
because you are stripped of everything that you've known, people that you really start afresh, making friends, making a community, and so forth. So it has really built my character. I'm grateful that I actually got to get this experience because it is what I wanted. It was what I was seeking anyway,
Yeah.
you know. So it has really made me a better person. I think I'm even more empathetic. I think I used to take, I wouldn't say, I think with the seasonal depression, really, you realize just how it affects your mental health,
Sure.
you know, and how things that, you know, something as basic as the sun, how it actually really makes a difference to your mood and so forth. So I feel like I've got an appreciation of certain things now, that I didn't that I used to take for granted, and I really appreciate people a lot.
Yeah.
But also I feel like it also, moving here also allowed me to really be myself
Sure.
outside of the noise, outside of familiarity. And it allowed me to carve my own path and be
Sure.
myself. Because a lot of the time when you are with people that you know and so forth, you sort of like fall into, you know, you can easily just fall into the mundane, like everyday kind of life that you've always, mundane things that you've always done, right? And I feel like this took me out of my comfort zone
Sure.
a lot. And I'm still crafting, I'm still finding my way, you know, I'm still building the person that I am, finding my feet. I'm very grateful for the experience, and yeah, it's made me a better version of me.
So now listening to that changed wholly. And as part of what you highlighted, I think you said being in the foreign land, which I believe is not a foreign land anymore to you, right? To you, you got to the point where you got your British passport.
Oh,
So,
yes.
so you are British,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you're South African. Maybe let's make. What does that mean? Maybe just expand. What does that mean to you? Like having two passports. What does it mean?
Wow, I never thought this would happen. And I mean, obviously moving this side, that was a possibility that it could happen, but you just obviously never know how things will
Sure.
pan out. But
Sure.
I think when it eventually happened, I was really, you know, you look at the amount of money that you've paid
Yo.
from the initial visa application, and then redoing after 2 years, you know, putting together all that money, and then eventually now getting permanent residence because when you get your citizenship. And yeah, you really see all that sacrifice that you made
Sure.
being here, being, you know, staying, you know, choosing every year to just stay and let life happen to you, and yeah, and being resilient, you know. So when you see now the final point,
Sure.
you know, and you see it actually happening,
Yeah.
wow, it was great. It was really, I could only just thank God,
Yeah.
because it's a privilege. It's a big privilege. There are a lot of people that are not in this position, and they've
Sure.
been in this country for years, and they've given so much to the
Yeah.
United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I really feel grateful that
You know, you say it, the United Kingdom with pride. United Kingdom of what?
of Great Britain.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I'm really grateful. It is honestly a privilege. It's not, you know, growing up, it was not even the norm, you know, where
Sure.
you'd find someone at home having, you know, a dual citizenship,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so even in my family, I think I'm the first one, and it means that even people that will come after me, you know,
Yeah.
they will have that, what do they call it, ancestral visa. You know, they can get.
They can get something. Your
Yes,
children will take from
you see,
you and all
exactly.
those
My
things.
children, my children's children. You know, like it's a whole generational thing.
Sure.
And so for it to have come through me, or
Yeah.
you know, I'm really grateful for that,
Yeah.
and even for the opportunities that it gives. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, it's a good place
That's
to
good.
be.
So considering you are traveling a lot, it must be meaning a lot to you because
Oh yes.
now you don't need Schengen
Oh
visa.
my
Like
goodness.
I went for Schengen last time. I forgot one document. I had to cancel the appointment. So you no longer have to go through that stress.
Wow, you know what? I don't have to go through all of that. And actually, next time when you apply for, you need to reach out to my travel agency.
Okay.
Yeah, because you won't be forgetting all of those documents.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm a use case.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly. Yeah.
best business case. Okay, no, that's
Yeah.
especially I mean for you, I've seen you 1 minute you're here, the next morning you are in Italy, in the evening you're in France,
You know what?
in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it allows you that movement.
Yes, the
And
flexibility.
shopping.
Wow.
If they say we have this bag
Yeah, in France. I mean,
France,
it's
you're
just
there.
a ticket away, you know.
Sure.
So I think it makes the world appear very small because you can literally just book a flight.
Yeah.
I can literally just go to the US right now.
Yeah.
I can go to yeah, I guess maybe let me just say to Europe with
Yeah.
ease because
Yeah.
there was obviously that stumbling block with
Sure.
Schengen visa and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing how a passport really is
Sure.
a
Changing
gateway
your
to
life.
so many things and opportunities, and how people treat you differently when you produce a certain passport.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still use my
The grandma.
Mamba, yeah, in certain spaces. Yeah.
Yeah. So having now gotten your passport and all these experiences,
Mm.
what's your relationship with South Africa now? Like
Oh,
when you look at South Africa now, is it still home?
oh
That's
my
maybe you
God.
start there. And what are the things that you miss about South Africa? If it still means anything to you, what's your relationship?
I mean, South Africa, you know, it's
Yeah.
interesting how much you fall in love with
Sure.
your home country when you're in this faraway lands.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to step out of your comfort to see how good you have it. You know what they say, the grass is not always green on the other side. That is very true.
Yeah.
I love South Africa so much, and I think living has reignited that love that I had for my country.
Mzansi.
If there is a champion of South Africa, I think it's me.
Yes.
South Africa is home. I I could literally just move if I'm there right now, if I could. I don't think there's anywhere in the world, and I think even with my travels, I've come to realize that there's absolutely no way like South Africa. The people of South Africa, wow, people are so friendly. South Africans they've got this genuine thing where whether they know you or not, you know, they are very polite, they're very friendly, you know, Ubuntu, you know, they see you as a person, you know, they acknowledge your being, your existence, you know, and generally just want to help you, you know.
Sure.
And I love that. I love the when I'm back home and I go to maybe town or something and people are speaking Tshivenda and you know you can hear and all of that, and it's just so beautiful to see, you know, they're engaging and all of that, you know, and it's things like that, small things like that that you really appreciate a lot. So I would definitely move to South Africa in a heartbeat. It will always be home, and I think as much as I do have my citizenship here, the UK for me, maybe it's my other home, but it can never replace South Africa. South Africa means so much to me because maybe also because I moved as an adult,
Yeah.
but those are my roots. Those are my people. That's my life. I feel like although a lot of my adult life has been here,
Yeah.
South Africa will always it's she who made
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that I mean, brand essay. Here's your ambassador.
Yes.
So I think you've covered the next question I was gonna ask. That okay, you were saying if you could, you could return.
Yeah.
Do you ever see yourself going back?
Oh yes. Oh yes. My dream, my wish is definitely to go back, and I think I'm putting measures in place to actually do that. I love our country. I mean, you can have. I mean, it's always nice, obviously, going back now, especially with pounds. You know, you can really go.
Yeah.
You know, you can really do quite a lot.
Yeah.
Of
It goes
traveling,
a long way.
experiences, and so forth. But yeah, I just love how you can, South Africa gives you such a wholesome holiday.
Sure.
From the Karoo, you've got the mountains, you've got the landscapes, you've got the beach, you've got the safari, you've got the city as well. So you've got a lot of different things that you can, you can do.
Yeah.
The food is great, you also have the winelands as well. So it gives you an overall,
Yeah.
picturesque, experience. And the food is amazing. It's world class. Even our traditional food is like, so tasty. You can really have different cuisines.
You make me go back home.
Like you just step Joburg, for instance.
Yeah.
It's a totally different environment. You go to Cape Town, you've got so it's got a bit of everything. And then even when you go to Emakaya,
Yeah.
it's different, Venda, there's just something, pockets of, adventure or, interesting things that you uncover. But the foundation is really the people. So I definitely, honestly, go back to South Africa. I do have interest in South Africa, so yeah.
So with everything you just said now, and how you capture so beautifully being in South Africa, now there is a Holly who found love to a guy in the UK.
Yeah.
Or somebody who's unemployed in South Africa thinking of going to the UK. What insights, what advice would you give to that person? Must they find some guy in Soweto and leave the guy in the UK? Because life may be different. Or they must go for what they believe, or they must follow their heart, as they said. Or if somebody is looking for employment and they're looking outside, are you saying they must go for it or they must stick it in SA? What's your insight? What would you share?
I mean, if someone wants to come to the UK, gladly. I think I will never say to someone that, oh, you know what, it's bad here. No. I feel like we all get our own experiences, and I think it's good for everyone to form their own experience. I'm speaking from my own frame of reference, and hence now I can say, oh, you know what, maybe now I can go home and all of that. But I could not have it any other way. So what I'd say is that if they are unemployed, if they are skilled in something, they can look at the government website, gov.uk, and they can look at skilled, jobs that offer a skilled visa. There's lots of jobs, that are like critical, that are lacking here in the UK of skills. So that is a good way to actually, come into the country. And
because this is the only opportunity. I mean, one thing, obviously, if it was up to us, we would like everyone to get everything they want.
Yes.
But at the same time, when we have guests, it's not us saying now, oh, hey, can't plug. Hey, man, I'm looking for.
Oh, yes.
After.
Yes.
So the thing is, this is the only opportunity for us to ask about how do people go about it.
Yes, that's
what's else out there. Hence, I was posing that question.
Oh, okay. So I think that is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, the other way is obviously maybe if you've got a partner this side, but
must get a partner this side.
Yeah, but again, also that's not always customary. I mean, honestly, that I cannot even advocate for that because really, that's not.
So it shows the other, and this is why I've covered from marriage, having to be married to somebody in London, and then also your businesses in terms of what you do is to just show that when people go to London or go to the UK, it's not just about job.
No,
there are things to do.
Yes.
People run businesses. People come and they came here for their husbands or for their wives. Oh, that's interesting. So we try by all means, because we are Voice of Solutions podcast, and we look at issues that are facing South Africa and try to solve the issues. Hence why we're covering this immigration issue and try to understand why do people leave South Africa. So in the issues that that are facing South Africa now, are there any possible solutions that in all experience that you've gathered here in the UK, where you went, you look and say, you know what, I was in this country, I think South Africa can solve problem A in this manner, or in my time in the UK, there are certain things I've seen to be we can take and implement at home?
I think this is even across Europe and Asia and all of that. I think I think transport.
Sure.
You can really see how a country is functioning in terms of the economy through their transport system.
Yeah.
And I think for me, having seen how easy it is to navigate, I mean, this country is so small, right? But the transport system works.
Sure.
They're never sleeping. They're never caught sleeping.
Sleeping on duty.
They could definitely, yeah, exactly. So they could definitely. It is quite expensive though. But what I've realized is that all these well, economies that are doing well, even China, for instance, is that they've really put an investment in their transport, right? Which then also what it boosts the economy as well, because people are able to get to jobs quite quickly and efficiently and so forth. It also creates other jobs as well. It creates other opportunities for even not just jobs, but for people to actually employ other people, but also create new businesses,
enabling entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. So that's one thing I would say. If honestly, if that was to be improved, and even I know there's talk of how is it not how train? Sorry, a train between what is it?
All the way to
Joburg to
Limpopo.
Limpopo. Yes. You look at things like trucks that are now transporting coal and all of that. That needs to be on goods. It needs to be on rail. That could curb a lot of accidents that are happening on the road. So things like that, where you can really see that where people are supposed to be traveling, they're traveling. They're not traveling with goods. And there's fewer accidents and all of that. And I think looking at the UK here, I mean, they do have obviously accidents and all of that, but a lot of they've got a structured approach to even cars as well. Cars that are not roadworthy are not on the road. Whereas in South Africa, anyone can just So this whole thing, like I don't know how they structure it, where every car that is on the road in the UK is
belongs on the road.
It belongs on the road. Yes, you have to, what the MOT.
MOT.
Yeah, so it's registered and you have insurance. You cannot have a car that is on the road without insurance. So I don't know how they've structured it, but I think things like that, if they were implemented at home, where you've got unroadworthy cars out of the the roads and all of that, then you would have fewer collisions, and you definitely save a lot of lives. So yeah, so things like that I think would definitely help. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh, are we done?
Captured it so well. Just maybe one last thing. Is there anything that you'd have loved to share that we didn't ask, or you think you've said it all?
Well, yes, I think I didn't mention that I'm a content creator, actually.
Okay, yes, of course, of
So,
course,
yes.
of course.
So yes, so I'm also a content creator. So I think looking at well, what I'm actually most recently doing is that I am an entrepreneur. So I do have the content creation. I've got the travel agency, and then I've got the luxury sourcing business. So it's like a whole concierge service that I'm actually doing. So I think if you are looking for me, I am on the socials. You'll link my profile.
I'll link your profile. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm very happy to have been given this opportunity. There's quite a lot. I don't think I am sure we scratched the surface, but I think there's quite a lot.
Thank you so much for your time, and I hope our viewers will love to listen to your journey.
Well, yeah, I hope it's well received.